give yourself some grace. Cake, pie, or discount donuts.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Well, hello there, and welcome to a Friday. That's right, it's September 25th, 2020. And the quote of the day comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. So listen closely. For each new morning with its light, for rest and shelter of the night, for health and food, for love and friends, for everything thy goodness sends. I thought it was very fitting for the weekend. Start of the new day, rested overnight, and so much more to come. So much goodness to come. It's Friday, right? We love Fridays because there's so much goodness to come. Oh my goodness. So I wanted to let you know, I hope you're listening to this today. Krispy Kreme is offering a big discount on a dozen donuts for those wearing sports gear. What does sports gear entail? Well, it entails just about anything. A hat, a shirt, they said even gloves, a jersey, what have you. If you've got any kind of sports gear, get it on out. Get yourself some Krispy Kreme donuts. Krispy Kreme does not do well around these parts. I'm not sure why. They are delicious. The problem with Krispy Kreme donuts is, and I'm talking about the glazed, which is what they're known for. They're so light and so fluffy. I could eat 5 of them. I am not exaggerating when I tell you I could eat 5 of them and still want another one. Yet they are about 400 calories apiece. Oh, they're so good. And when they're hot, they just melt in your mouth. Honestly, they melt in your mouth when they're not hot. But they melt in your mouth even more when they're all hot. I haven't had many donuts this year. You know how I rant and rave about the bakery that's over on the island, Ferrara's. I love them. We've been there at least once, maybe twice. They have the cream donut that I just go on and on and on about that has like 5 times the amount of cream stuffed in their donut that Dunkin' Donuts does. But I found it to be a little lacking this year. It was maybe only 3.5 times more than Dunkin' Donuts, which is kind of a letdown. Kind of a letdown. I want 5 times. That's what it's been for the, I don't know, how long have we been going there? I mean, they've been there forever, but we didn't start going there until, I'm going to say about 2013. So we've been going there for about 7 years. And now 7 years in, all of a sudden you're going to start skimping? You're going to start skimping? I thought maybe it was just a fluke. And then I had a discussion with somebody else that patronizes, and they said the same thing. Yeah, there is just not as much stuff in those donuts as there used to be. So I don't make it a priority to get there anymore. It's a shame. Because I used to rant and rave about them like crazy. Don't cheap out, people. Just don't cheap out. Speaking of cheaping out, Joe and I used to go to this seafood takeout place when we had a house in North Wildwood. It was called the Crab Cake Hotline. Oh, they had the best food. They used to put sea salt over their baked potatoes, which, wow, did that just kick it up a notch. And they put breadcrumbs on everything. That's what I discovered. Breadcrumbs makes everything better. Yeah, everything. So we used to get the crab cakes from there, and it was just so much crab. Oh, they were so good, and there was breadcrumbs sprinkled on top, and they were crispy and crunchy, and then they started to really take off. It started to get harder and harder to get an order from them. And the last couple of times we did give them more than one chance. But the last couple of times we ordered from them, it was no longer a lump crab cake. It was a filler crab cake. They had started to put so much filler in there, you could hardly even tell there was, I'm exaggerating a little bit. Yeah, clearly it was a crab cake. But it was so drastically different from the crab cakes of the past. And again, you're just cheaping out. You're just cheaping out. The reason that I went to you is because you had a product that was amazing, and I love it. And you've heard me rant and rave about Ferrara's Bakery. When I love something, I yell it from the rooftops. You've got to go to Ferrara's Bakery. Get those donuts. But now no more endorsements for me. No more endorsements. I don't know. It's always kind of a big letdown, right? When you're constantly going up to a place and you expect a certain quality, and then all of a sudden it just drops off. Happens a lot. Unfortunately, people always trying to cheap out. Just give me what I pay for. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Just give me what I pay for. New Jersey talking about banning single-use plastic bags. Yes, this is in the news again. Now, I live in Stafford Township, which put a bag ban in place. Was it last August or the August before? I think it was the August before. Yes, I'm almost positive. And it took some getting used to. I'm against the bag ban. I've always been against the bag ban. Am I for the earth? Yes, absolutely. I would like to do everything I can to try to preserve the earth, save the earth, and not have fish and whales swimming around with a bag inside of them. However, I am a person who disposes of my plastic bags properly, and they are not one use to me. I use them for several different duties, shall we say. One of them being the dog duty. We pick up the dogs, number 2, with that. I've also used it as lunch bags. I use it as a way to carry things to friends' houses, and I use it to put my dirty laundry in when I'm on vacation. I use them for all sorts of things. So, when the pandemic hit, we were all told, okay, don't bring your reusable bags to the store. We don't want your germs. We want to make sure it's safe and we're not transferring each other's germs around the grocery store. We will supply you with a bag once again. So the fact that this is coming up now seems a little weird timing-wise. Maybe we should wait until next year to talk about this again, because everybody has gone back to using bags, which is the way it should be. And I'm not even demanding that you give me a plastic bag. A paper bag is fine, but give me a bag. If I'm spending this much money in your store, the least you can do is give me something to carry my purchases out. Don't bring up the big box stores to me. Don't talk to me about Costco and BJ's. The reason they do not have bags is because it's a bulk store. Yes, do they have things that could fit in a bag? Sure, absolutely. But the premise behind these types of box stores is that you buy in bulk. Therefore, you don't need a bag for most of the items you would be purchasing there. That is why there is no bags provided at these stores. And we go in knowing that. We go in, we buy our membership, we know, but they still supply a box usually. I know in my BJ's, when I'm leaving, there's a bunch of boxes up along the sides of the walls so that I can grab something to still cart my stuff out with. Just give me something to carry my stuff. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Next thing you know, I'm going to have to purchase napkins when I get a hot dog. Oh, well, that napkin's going to cost you an extra 50 cents. Seem ridiculous? That's how ridiculous it is that I have to buy a bag. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox. We're going to go on to fun stuff. We're going to talk about cake and pie. You know, it's funny because I grew up in a house where pie was a special occasion dessert. We didn't have pie for dessert. Not that we had cake either, but we had cake way more often than we would have had pie. The only time we had pie was Thanksgiving and Christmas. The only times that I recall. I'm sure if I'm wrong, my sister will text me and say, yeah, we had pie here too. But I don't think we did. And then we had cakes for birthdays and stuff. You know, my mom was on a perpetual diet, constantly on a diet. So we didn't have much fattening food in the house to begin with. You know, growing up, our snacks were raisins, apples, and popcorn. That's about it. And, you know, we survived. It was okay. But I also think that's one of the reasons why I like to, you know, kind of gorge myself when I still get around stuff that I didn't have or wasn't allowed to have when I was growing up. You know, when I saw a bag of potato chips, I would eat the whole damn thing. I don't do that anymore. I still eat more than I should. But I have to say, one of the reasons I thought about this is because my husband loves pie. Loves pie. I'm not crazy about pie. You know, I'm just not crazy about pie. I would much rather have cake. Hands down, if I have a choice, I'm picking cake. But there are some pies that are very good. I've had some blueberry crumb pies that are really delicious. My cousin Jim had pointed out strawberry pie. I do have a thing for strawberry pies. Mostly the tasty cake strawberry pie with that little strip of vanilla icing on it. That's pretty yummy. Banana cream pie? I don't know. Does that even count as pie? That's more like a dessert to me, I guess. Now, Anne says chocolate silk pie or chocolate cream. I don't see these pies very often. Chocolate mousse. Just the chocolate silk pie or chocolate cream reminds me of chocolate mousse. That's also very good. I'm not a big fan of chocolate nor chocolate pudding, but chocolate mousse, that's something a little bit different. Now, Wilbur says it depends on the situation. Cake for parties, pie for dessert. See, it would have been the opposite for us. We would have, well, unless it was a birthday party, but holidays, we had pie. Otherwise, we had cake. Sandra says, if you don't have cake, I'll take the pie. Yeah, me too, Aunt Sandra. This is my aunt. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have the pie. I mean, I will have dessert. Never fear. We were at a little luncheon not that long ago, and the dessert was it lemon squares, some sort of lemony something, but it had like a layer of that crystal sugar on top, which is right up my alley. I'm not a big fan of lemon, and I think I must have been in the restroom or something when they served the dessert, because when I came back in to sit down at the table, my husband's like, oh, it's lemon. You're not going to like it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to eat it. I don't care. It was still pretty good because it was sweet enough. I don't like lemon mostly because it's sour. I don't like sour. You're learning a little too much about me today, aren't you? You're like, Wendy, shut the hell up and just get to the rest of the little informal survey. Well, I will do that. It seems that according to my little survey, it's a tie. 50% of the people say, I want pie. The other 50% say, I want cake. However, there's another percentage, which is more than 100%, but I'm not good at numbers, that say both. People, there's an or. Cake or pie. You are a bunch of cheaters. Cheaters. Carolyn, cheater. Carol Ann, cheater. Who else is cheating? Linda, cheater. Corinne, cheater. You're all cheaters. Yeah, I hear you, though. I definitely hear you. A lot of people say cake, close. Pie is a close second. Yeah, you know what? We just like dessert. That's all. Just want some dessert. My iPad is giving me some trouble. Here we go. It's a little early for the iPad. It doesn't want to wake up. Today's blog post is about giving yourself some grace. I use one of the cool new Facebook icons as the picture today. I really like them. I really do. I really like the little thing that what do you call it? A little avatar that I made up. I don't think it looks much like me, but she's cute as a button. Cute as a button. Red curly hair, big glasses. I have a little mole under my lips, which has gone away over the years, probably from, so much scrubbing and waxing and all kinds of stuff. But I put it on there anyway because it used to be there. Anyway, to end the week about our discussion of resilience, I wanted to make sure you know that you can't be on all the time. And when you aren't, give yourself some grace. It's so important to take the time you need to recharge, refresh, and relax. This is not an excuse to not get things done. This is for when you truly need a break and you take it. Like my sick day this week. I've been fighting a cold for over 2 weeks, a bad cough, some sniffles, super tired. And I finally took a day to just sleep and recuperate. Because I did think to myself when I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, as I do every day on Wednesday, you could just do the podcast. Just do the podcast and go back to bed. But my energy level was so low that the thought of doing it was so overwhelming. Normally, I would beat myself up and berate myself. Come on, Wendy. You can record a 20-minute podcast. Suck it up and just do it. But I couldn't. So I went back to bed. And I slept an additional 3.5 hours. I got up, read my book a little bit, then went back for another nap. Another hour and a half. Yeah, then I went to bed at 9 o'clock like I normally do. Guess I really needed to catch up on some sleep. And you know what? Woke up the next day feeling so much better. I'm not cured, but definitely on the mend. It was exactly what I needed to do, so I will not beat myself up. And all of your kind well wishes really helped as well, so thank you for allowing me a day to rest. I'm actually reading a book right now, Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. Now, in it, a woman loses her father, and for months she goes on about how she has to keep going and doing things to distract herself because if she stops to think about it, she will lose it. This makes absolutely no sense to me. Lose it. You're allowed. You just lost someone you love so much. In fact, I think it's necessary to take some time to just cry, scream, and feel sorry for yourself. Get it out of your system. And although things will never be the same, you can move forward knowing you took care of yourself. Because these things have a way of making themselves felt at one point or another. So, do it the most healthy way before you have a breakdown. If you've been relentless in your pursuit of all things, make sure to give yourself time to relax. We tend to think we don't ever really need rest, especially when we're young, but we do. It's great to have a goal and work really hard toward it, but don't neglect the present in your quest for the future. It's okay to take a weekend with Netflix. Now that the cooler weather is here, way more acceptable. I can totally talk myself more into sitting in front of the television. Your body is a way of telling you when you need a break, like my inability to get my podcast on that day. And once I listened to my body and went back to bed, it was all I needed. I was back strong and ready to work the next day. Not only did I get my blog and podcast done, I cleaned the entire house. And I washed every bit of linen to hopefully get any remnant sickness out. I even did the blankets, did the mattress cover. I cleaned house. However, like I mentioned earlier, don't use this as an excuse either. I took one day. You can take more than that, but don't let it stop you from going after your goals. As with everything in life, there is a delicate balance, a line that can be crossed so easily. It's so hard to know what that line is. But you inherently know what you should be doing, as you know when you truly need a break. Work hard, but take the much needed rest when it's called for. You know in your heart when it's time to work hard and when it's time to take it down a notch momentarily. No matter where you are right now, though, give yourself some grace. Have you been lazy and slacking lately? It's in the past now. It's okay. There's nothing that you can do about it now. Just do better. Do what it takes to get you where you want. And if you mess up, it's okay. Tomorrow is another day to crush those goals. Just get back on that train and keep moving. Toot, toot. You can do it. I know you can, because I know that you are a badass. Happy Cocktail Friday, y'all. Grab a cold one and enjoy. Have a fantastic weekend and be safe in whatever you do. As always, I'm cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit Hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Did you like that? Get on the train. Toot.